Hey, welcome to Computers for the Completely Clueless. I'm Lee Keller.
And I'm Kim Cavanaugh.
I got the title right. You
Good
didn't
job,
even have to
Lee.
remind me.
You're right on top of things this week.
Hey, we're going to pick up with the control panel. We've been working a lot with that.
We have been, and remember, the control panel is how you control your computer, how your computer behaves, how it decides which programs open files, how it looks.
There's a lot to it,
There's
too.
a lot to it. And on the Windows platform, it's good to know about all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to continue looking at these different options. We've been going in alphabetical order to keep things simple for us, and to hopefully make things simple for you. And last week we were talking about folder options.
And today we're going to talk about more folder options, but mostly file association.
This is one that really trips people up sometimes.
Yeah,
so,
and sometimes it's the software that you thought was going to help you that's taking over your world.
Right, and as we were talking before the show and actually doing our in-depth show planning, as we always do, we said, well, maybe this is too advanced for people who are on this show. But it seems
you know when
to
it happens, if you don't know about it, you're clueless.
Exactly right. So we're going to talk about that, and we'll also be talking about Internet options, because that comes after F, G, and H.
Yep.
We get to I. And there's a lot of options that you can, again, use for setting the way that you use the web and the kind of content you see, and lots of interesting stuff.
And we'll take a quick look at the control panel to show the things that we're skipping and explain why, because some of them just aren't going to be that relevant to people.
Great. So I think we're ready to go on over to our computer screen here now, and Lee has to do that. That's right.
Yeah, I get to do that part. I get to have all the fun.
So remember that your control panel is found under the Start menu. So Start, and then Control Panel. We've seen in some of our previous shows that there are different ways to view the control panel, what they call the classic view, which is basically a list of items in your control panel, or the more common view where you have a lot of large buttons. So we're going to go ahead and get Lee over here. See, there we are.
Here we are. We've got our folder options here. And when we clicked on this last week, we found that we had a lot of different folder options. And we really basically talked about the general and the view part. Not much you want to do in there, and you really have to be careful about what you're messing with.
Right.
So we did that. And then this part is what we're talking about now. These are your different file types.
That's my favorite part, because I love the flashlight icon that searches back and forth. This actually is indicating that it's looking things up. Because in one of our early shows, we talked about the fact that a computer has to know what program to use when it opens a file. And it tells that by the file, what do we call that, Lee? The file extension. There,
yeah,
file extension. After the name of the file, you'll see a dot. Maybe sometimes you don't even see it.
And that's what this column is right here. This is your extension. And then the right side, file types. It tries to give you, and I'm using the word tries.
Right.
It tries to give you an idea of what that file extension might be used for.
So these are three-letter determinants that come after the name of the file, and they tell if it's a Word document, or they tell if it's a MOV file for a movie. You can see
there's a lot of them.
WMV, and there are a lot. If the computer doesn't know what to do with the files that are using that extension, then it gets tripped up, okay? And what will happen is you'll get an error. I think we'll be able to show that error here in just a second. The error will basically come up and says Windows doesn't know what to do with this program or with this file, and then lets you choose from a list. So it can get really confusing. Now, I think the most common thing that happens to people is they'll get a file attachment from a friend, and maybe they send them a movie file or a file that their computer doesn't have a program to open it with. So maybe it's a Word document, and you don't have Word on your computer. Well, the computer doesn't know what to do with the document. So we've actually gone ahead and to simulate this process.
Actually, I'm looking at this now, and I'm realizing that my simulation part that I tried to destroy something so that we'd be able to show people how to fix it, and it apparently didn't fix, or I didn't get to destroy it, because if something is broken, you're not going to see an association here.
You're actually just going to see a little rectangle with a blue bar across the top.
Right. See, now we've got a PDF file here.
Right. So you're just floating your mouse over the top of that, and it tells you, again, it tells you the type, that it's an Adobe PDF document, Acrobat document, the title, and so forth, and tells you when it was created and the size of that document.
Yeah.
If you don't see those little icons, you know, if you don't see one that says Word or looks like a picture, then what's happened is the file association has gotten corrupt, or you may not even have the program that lets you do it.
Now, some of the most common file types that do get messed up are document files, photographic files, movie files, and audio files. Audio files seem to be the worst.
Right.
Audio programs take over the world.
Programs out there, and if you install, say you download, here's one that used to be bad. I won't say anything bad about them. You know which one I'm talking about.
Is it a real
Starts just a real
problem?
Pain in the neck. Yeah, it's called
So
Real Player.
Yeah.
And for a while it was very popular, but people stopped using it because it did that very thing. It would go in and would reset all your audio files so they would only open in their player. And most folks did not like that. Now, so the left side shows your 3 or 4 letter extensions, and it tells you what those files do.
So if I have a file that's not playing, I need to know what its extension is.
Okay.
And I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go to change it.
Okay.
And when I do, I can choose a recommended file or program or something else.
Right.
And I just click OK when I'm done, and now that file's been associated.
Right. And so you see the icon. That's the icon indicates that the file's been properly associated, and when you double-click that file, it will now open.
Yeah. I'm going to do another one here so we can see how to do it. I'm going to go to this file type. I know that it's associated with an Adobe PDF. I click Change, make sure it's got the right one selected. Click OK. Now again, this is a very advanced feature. Most users will never use this.
It's really more of a troubleshooting kind of thing. And again, you get a file from somebody and you can't open it. The general problem is, well, it's one of 2 problems. Either one, the computer doesn't know what program it should use to open it.
Or it might not have the program.
Or you don't, that's number 2, you don't have that program. Okay. So something to keep an eye out, and that's what your File Types tab is used for.
One of the amazing things is the number of files that you look at, though.
And most people never, I know, you look at them, and some of these are programs you would never use. A dial-up phone book.
Well, you look at this computer. This computer is pretty much naked. I mean, we have installed OpenOffice on it. Right. And not much else.
Right. It's
Yet
just
there's all these
standard
file
Windows,
types.
and it basically comes with Windows. When you install Windows, it's going to automatically say these are what these files go to. So rather extensive. You know, don't go playing around when they're just for the fun of it. But it's a good troubleshooting area to know about if you get one of those messages that says Windows doesn't know what to do with this program. All right, then you can go in and you can try to reassociate.
And you can
files.
select a program to run it then, but then you're going to have to do it every time. So that's what we have for now. We're going to come back and talk some more about the control panel
Alrighty.
and introduce some new topics.
Very good. Stay with us.